Welcome to the StockMentor.com studios here in the Black Hills of South Dakota. I'm your stock mentor, Brian Johnson, and I'm making professional trading simple. And here we go once again. Market's gap down, only to be swallowed up by the bulls as they buy it right back up again. Now, only bringing it back and closing, you can see we were well above this overhead resistance, and by the end of the day, it was not able to hold here on the Dow. So, what are we looking at? Once again, major levels below us, 10,950 being one of them. What was the low? So 10,947 was the low. I'm still going to put it right there, 10,950. This held very well. There's obviously some buyers down in here. They bought it right back up again, and you can see it take off, coming back up to finish. I don't know, somewhat level on the day, kind of equal on the day. But the point is, it came back up after the bears were given an opportunity to kind of drag this thing lower. They still have absolutely no interest in doing that. Nobody's selling right now. Everybody's holding. So buyers come back in, bring it back up. Now, as I said, we tried to get above this overhead resistance at the end of the day, maybe trying to drag in a few late bulls to the market and coming back down to close right at or below that 11, I'm going to call it 11,025 mark. That's kind of my next entry to the long side. I still have to believe we're going to break that. That'll probably come maybe tomorrow morning. We'll see if this ends up being it is a potential double top as it stands right now on the 60-minute chart. But having gotten past this place once, if it hangs up there for any great length of time, watch for this 20 moving average to slowly wind its way up there. Maybe the stock moves sideways and then pow, takes off from there, breaks to the upside. I have no reasons to think that it won't do that sometime tomorrow, and that is break upwards and up and over this area, giving us another intraday trade to the long side. Not sure we're going to, well, it'd be nice to see some real movement sometime during the course of the week. From a daily here, you can see us moving down, moving right back up again, putting in a big, kind of it's not really a hammer candle on the day. Once again, another potential reversal candle, but those have not held well. Everything that has put in that type of a candle has all resolved upwards for the most part over the past umpteen weeks. So I would expect the same to happen here. Watch for this thing to maybe move itself upwards coming into tomorrow. If this level holds 11,025, that's my mark on the Dow. NASDAQ on a 60-minute also doing the same thing. Move down, right back into support, bounce back up. Broke above its highs here, so you can see it once again showing more strength than the Dow, and now high basing in the last 2 hours of the day. So while it wasn't able to hold above that 2005 level, it certainly was able to still stay above this area of 2000, which I talked about yesterday as overhead resistance. So moving sideways just means more bullishness. Gotta give that to the bulls, and remaining above this blue trend line. Got to give it to the bulls. So any push up and over 2005 tomorrow could mean a little bit of another move up in the markets. Once again, be nice to see some real movement where we could get more than a 2, 3, 4, 5 point move in the SPX for our intraday traders. In that case, got to be looking to your stocks once again for your trades. Weekly, pushing up. Tuesday, a little bit early. We see these things reverse quite often on a Wednesday afternoon. Those are my areas to start looking for reversals. So you might be watching that coming into tomorrow afternoon. See if there's any kind of weakness shown in the markets for a drop. But if as long as it stays sideways to up, that's you got to give it to the bulls. It's got to be bullish behavior. Here you can see what the SPX did. I sent out an intraday email to my subscribers telling them to watch this 1200 area and to make sure it gets up and over 1200 before you look to take a trade to the long side because of this overhead channel line here. And we touched right at 1199. So still no entry to the long side on the SPX. I'd be very cautious of this. Make sure it gets well up and over 1200 before looking at an intraday. You can maybe start to build some sort of a inverse head and shoulders. I don't know. You'd have to kind of make it up. But I'm just looking at the fact that it came up, retagged this overhead line, and once again, it held very nicely, making room on a 60-minute chart for a further move up that could take us into the 1200 to 1205 area and still remain below this overhead channel line. keep that in mind coming into tomorrow's trading. You'll want to be watching this very closely if you're going to trade the SPX to the long side. Here on a daily, just more of the same. Drop down to 1190, move right back up in and around this 1200 area. But this is once again forming a high base formation. So unless 1200 holds, this is just going to make its way upwards from here. Now, how far, I don't know. I'm still looking at that 1225-ish area, maybe for an ultimate goal to the upside. We'll see if anybody front runs it, but I'd be watching that over and above the 1200 area. From a weekly standpoint, this is what I'm looking at, 1225. That's the 200-week moving average. No reason to think we can't work our way up there. Look at these little tiny candles. It's just kind of, it makes you giggle. These things aren't moving hardly at all. So once again, if you're not getting any movement in the markets like we saw today was pretty volatile. You would have had to really been on the ball today to catch that move to the upside and play it. So when the markets are moving what amounts to basically sideways, you want to be looking to individual stocks for your plays. Learn how to figure out which ones are the best ones to play. Okay, VIX back up today. Right to the underside of this resistance level here. Looks like this thing, I'll be honest with you guys, VIX looks like it might be in a position to break here pretty soon. Break upwards, that is, pretty soon. What I've been seeing in the markets via price action volume based on, and also comparing that with what I'm seeing in the VIX, yeah, I'm not so sure that we don't maybe start to see a little bit of a move up in the VIX. Odd to see what we did today. There's a divergence there. We saw the markets kind of move up. They were at least flat to up today. And the VIX was up considerably today, almost 4%. That's quite a move in the VIX. Considering that the markets were still flat to up, they should have been down. So there is a divergence there. How that'll play out, I'm not sure. But if the VIX wins, the markets are going to head downwards, not upwards. Downwards because of that. So keep your eye on the VIX now over the next couple days, and let's just see if that gives us any kind of a telltale sign as to the market direction. You want to see the VIX move up while the markets are moving down. To kind of give yourself confirmation there. VIX on a weekly, you can see us still staying above this blue line on the weekly. That's ultimately what I'm watching. We had a dip below it back into this 15 area, but weekly candles, you got to wait till the week is done before you can really look at them in the bigger picture. And you can see us holding now below this overhead resistance and sitting right on top of this blue support line. So it's holding very nicely in this area. Wouldn't be surprised to see it maybe close the week somewhere around in this area in between here before making another move come maybe end of the month. Apple on a 60-minute was up a whopping 14 cents. You want to talk about absolutely nothing to trade. This was it.